Thanks for staying with us. So the absence of President Muhammadu Buhari, the Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria's Armed Forces, at the funeral of General Ibrahim Atahiru has set social media on fire, especially Twitter. Because as the burial of General was ongoing, many governors also converged in Kano for the wedding of one of the sons of the Attorney General, that's Abubakar Malami. Now, also in Rivers State, Governor Nyesom Wike was holding a political rally as Nigeria was mourning the late military chief. Now, many have described this entire three individual incidents as shocking. Others said it shows that Nigeria is not worth dying for. Now, what are your thoughts on this? It's pretty hot. People are talking about it. Since then, the presidential spokesperson, I think on social media, had responded since the controversy started. And she had said that it takes 48 hours for the presidency to prepare, to go for protocols, to prepare for the president to go to anywhere. Therefore, there was very little time for the protocols to actually prepare for the president's appearance at the funeral. And that was the reason she gave for his absence. What are your thoughts on this? Let us hear your views. You can call us on 081-270-53687. You can also call us on 091-390-76948. You can tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag your View TVC so we can read your tweets. Ladies, so we're going to, because as a moderator, I need to see both sides of the story and I need to understand where we're coming from, because people had said that, yes, because the military is almost like his first constituency. This is your baby. You should ordinarily go there. Others are saying, well, he has sent the Minister of Defense. Shouldn't that suffice? Let me start with you, Nima.
So let me just first of all put it out there. Whether he attends or not, none of the dead will come back. Exactly. His attendance will not bring the dead back, because have seen people saying that. But then, you know, the president is usually very healthy, you know, for certain travels that surprise us. You know, I would expect that the vice president, who is much younger and much more physically healthy, could attend France and negotiate, who is even a professor of law, and negotiate well on behalf of the country in France with the AU, when they had their meeting in France, but that didn't happen. The vice president could have also been on certain other travels for him, but that also didn't happen. Then, when something as serious as this happened at home, he still doesn't show up. I watched the funeral on Saturday, and at some point I didn't know. I was just all wet, crying, because I saw how pained the families of those people on that flight was. In fact, there was a particular officer whose father was made to receive the flag on behalf of the family. He had, I think, his sister to one side, and the old man was physically crying. Visibly crying. So you would expect that. You know, African culture of, I invest in my child and my child then takes care of me. At the time, at the height of his career, you see that child just fall and die, and then they are giving you a flag. And you know, you cannot rely on that flag and the country as much as you can rely on your child that you have raised. So you know that you can understand the pain of those family members. I want to commend the Senate president for showing up. But the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, should have physically showed up at least at the church service and the janaza for the dead at the National Mosque in Abuja. That's the least you can do. You don't have to be at the ceremony itself where the interment and all of that is taking place. Show up, and physically, don't make a phone call. Show up at the house of the family members of these officers, because you cannot show up for every Nigerian army officer killed at the war front right now. That can be taken care of by people that you delegate. But when it is your first man in the army, your first person to rely on.
Let me come to the other ladies. I think there is a difference between doing and to be seen to be doing. And the way the world is, we need to be careful that when you're doing, you also need to be seen to be doing, or else whatever it is that you're doing. Exactly. So for me, it's about empathy. It's about the fact that this is your #1 man who is in charge of defending the country. I believe that all protocols should have been suspended. It's not just the death of ordinary soldiers or ordinary pilots who just went about to do their duties. This is your #1 man. All protocols, no matter what it is, should have been suspended. In times of war, you don't wait for 48 hours to, organize yourself and put your protocols together. You move. So this, for me, is an emergency that required that you move, And then the body language of the presidency, the body language of people in places of authority that we expected to know better. People were busy partying up and as if nothing happened, as if no life was lost, no important life was lost. What message do you pass to the ordinary Nigerian who is looking to come and serve the nation? That if I die, my death is in vain. Nobody cares in Nigeria. I think we need to be very careful about the perception that we give to the people we are leading.
I'll come to the issue of the party in a minute because I want to hear your initial thoughts on this before we go into the issue of the governors. Go ahead.
Okay, so what my initial thoughts was there are three things plaguing Nigeria. Three things the president promised to deal with: corruption, security, improving the economy. Till now, 6 years down the line, we still have those three problems he promised to deal with in his first campaign to become the president. Now, the level of insecurity in Nigeria has risen to the point that even your economy cannot work without security. Now, your chief of army staff died in full gear, in full duty, and protocols were more important than showing the military that you support and respect them. Because the president's presence, speech by himself, communication with the family will be a show of confidence, support, and empathy of the sacrifice of the people that are dying daily to bring peace to this nation. The priorities of the president showed that he did not have one good advice, and personally, he did not prioritize the lives of those who put their lives on the line on a daily basis. The fact that the chief of staff died in a plane crash was a mishap. But other people, by their everyday activity as uniform wearing, serving Nigeria, they every day put their lives on the line, every day. So when they see their own boss die,
and nothing is
there was, the phone call came in after 24 hours. There was no physical presence of the president
or the vice
president at the burial. What signal do you send to them? This is a military that's already feeling demoralized, and they're always protesting every other day. Then something this huge happens, and the entire government did not shut down and say, because we don't have a war, we don't have peace without the military. We don't have anything. This country is nothing without the ability of...
weakest as our military.
As our military. So then this military, you could not support them at the time of their needs.
Let me go on a break. When we come back, we'll open our phone lines, and then we'll go into the issues of the governor. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this matter of the Commander-in-Chief, the President Buhari, not attending the burial of the late general. There was other parts of the governors attending the wedding, and that many mixed reactions also trailed that, because people are saying that, do you expect them to change the date of the wedding that has been planned? That's one. And secondly, even if the family doesn't change the wedding plans, maybe the governors could have deferred or sent somebody in there in absentia. What do you think should have happened for the wedding?
This is what I think. They come, they will still drop envelope. The one that will send Malu will still send it. But when something as sensitive as this has happened, send it in and sit down. Because the most important thing is that all of them, because everybody is shouting insecurity in one area or the other, all of them should have been at that point of burial and should make the effort to condole the family members of all of those officers that died. All of them, I'm not joking, including the person whose son was getting married. And we know as Muslims that whether or not he's sitting down there wearing that agbada, his son will get married. Even if you have planned an event of millions of naira, you could have, toned things down, and the event will still go on. A nikah is something that is so simple, but you wanted to do, you had planned state burial, and the event that happened cannot stop you from being a big man. I
don't totally agree that they could have probably cancelled or not done the wedding.
No, I didn't say cancel.
Yeah, but the father was the wedding.
A nikah does not need the pomp and pageantry.
Yeah, but if they choose for pomp and pageantry, that's their choice.
No. That's insensitive. Because the father is not every ordinary Nigerian minding their business. It's our own appointed minister for justice, a public servant.
And he could have been on that.
And it could have been on that. It could have been anybody.
Okay, so you're saying that even so, because it's his son's day, it's not so much his day. So would I now jeopardize my son's happiness because of this situation? I'm just trying to be both sides of the story. Because I don't know if you blame the father of the year. I think it's the attendance of the governors we're discussing, not the wedding itself.
So for me, number one, the wedding should have been toned down out of respect, because you are no longer yourself. You're a public servant. We are paying your salary. The entire country pays your salary. When you opt to serve in a country, you serve and you sacrifice for service. Enough of us feeling like politicians and leaders are above the law or beyond human beings. You are public servants, sir, and you are paid by government. If you don't want the backlash on your activities, then resign, step down. Now, other governors also know that they are pointing fingers for the chief of staff to come and help them fight the insecurity challenges in their own states, and the man dies, and all of you go and party. There's some things that you don't do because you want people to understand the importance of the sacrifices that people make for this country. Those men, young men, old men, they've made the ultimate sacrifice based on some inefficient processes, because they would still investigate what caused the plane crash and find out that it was probably something that they could have replaced or something.
Mechanical will come out.
It could be. You don't know.
But they are gone.
Let me take this call from Chibuza from Abuja. Are you there? Thanks for calling. Chibuza, oh, I hope you're still there. Hello? I think we might have lost our call. Yes, BC.
Yeah, so I wouldn't blame the Malami for his son's wedding. I agree with Nima, it should have been toned down. And even if he doesn't want to, appear for the burial, he could have sent somebody to represent him. But then the other governors that came there shouldn't have been there. They should have gone for that burial and send their gifts to the person who is getting married. Because the thing is, we need to learn how to put national interest above our personal interest, especially if you're holding a very pivotal position in the society.
Can we say Bagam on that?
National interest must come first. And that is where patriotism comes in. So you need to put your nation first. This is a man who we had been waiting for them to change service chiefs, change this one, change that one. Now he just got this position. It's even heartbreaking that may God not give us a position that will end our lives. Because some people in his family would have been saying, hey, are you sure he shouldn't have just been where he was before? So it's a very sensitive situation that everybody should have just been there to support the family, to support the family members of all the other people that have, it wasn't a moment to party.
Yes.
I know that they have spent money in planning their preparations and all of that, but it should have just been toned down so that their presence would be felt in that burial.
Let me take Adeyemo's call. Adeyemo, are you there? Thanks for calling.
Yes, good morning, Morales.
Good morning. You're live. Go ahead, please.
It's very unfortunate that the president has acted in this manner. It only shows that Nigeria is not a country worth dying for. That is just the attitude of the president. I would personally not blame the vice president, because the vice president cannot be the commander-in-chief while the president still exists. What is the president, for me, the president has been, we have an absentee president for a very long time. I will always say this. I'm a supporter of the president, but this time around he's been very, very absent in the country, especially when his attention has been urgently needed. So, Osinbajo could not have attended that burial because he was not delegated to. The president can only delegate that power, and unfortunately he delegated it to a minister of defense. That's quite unencouraging.
All right, thank you very much for that call. So you see, there's also that part of the civil service. Oh, there's protocol, and there's a way they delegate. It's not part of the delegation. These are things that we've created. We are human. We've created these things. That's why those things could have been suspended for the sake of this situation. Now, also, there's something called perception is reality. Even if you don't feel like attending the funeral, the fact that you are seen. You are seen to be prioritizing this solemn moment over having a party in its own carries a lot of weight to the Nigerians who are seeing us. So I guess the perception of how we're seen
or 48 hours
is how we are seeing our governors. Is not communicating to our soldiers that actually that this country is worth fighting for. It's all about it. But the moment if they saw that all our leaders
suspended everything they had to do
for the sake of this,
respect.
They know that, yes, they are fighting for a country that actually cares. And
they should see the way America does it now. American soldiers die at the level of honor.
They should not copy America.
Came to Lagos
when the Alfa bombing happened and people died in hundreds there the other day, the sitting president at the time, showed up personally within 10 hours in Lagos. And the epitaph is still there. If you drive through Isolo, you see it there. That's even besides the point. As Africans, you show up to pay your last respect. You show up as Africans.
That's why I said you address the 48 hours. I said the president's protocol needs 48 hours. The protocol needs 48 hours.
So that's helicopter.
It is not helicopter. It is within, as in it's not like you're traveling.
Perimeter is well secured.
So, in my own case,
National Mosque,
you are prioritizing, the president is prioritizing his own
security first.
And we've seen that many times. And we've seen a military that has complained consistently about not being cared for, about about their welfare not being taken care of, and then the chief of army staff dies, and the president's protocol. Somebody was able to tweet to say that the protocol requires 48 hours. So if anything happens to the president's family, it will take him 48 hours to show up there. Because we're not the.
Did his son have accident the other day? Did it take him 48 hours for his protocol to be ready?
We have to wrap up on this, but I think
we speak the mind of Nigerians. We're not happy.
I would have loved to get some more tweets on this.
We have plenty.
Please, let's take it before we can run off on the break.
Annoying.
Go ahead, Nima.
Okay. Adesoya is wishing up a wake up. Chukwuemeka Romano said the death of these military men and the chief mean nothing to the presidency. The wedding can be cancelled for national burial. Toyo 310 says, I'm delighted that you have put some people to shame by addressing this issue today. I love you ladies and your brain and all of that. Akiboyewa says, those criticizing PMB for not attending the funeral of the chief of army staff must understand that there's no precedent for it in the history of our country. Many families of the late military officers would have preferred private funeral for their departed ones. It didn't happen.
Bill Case says, and it's the last rites. I don't know why our president wasn't at the burial of his chief of army staff. Maybe there was a hint he could be targeted at the event. Or what was it? The nation deserves answers. Even if it's for security reasons, we need to know why.
All right, we have to wrap up on that. But I think our voices have been expressed loud and clear. And I think Nigerians' views have been also expressed. The presidency obviously understands that his handlers could have done this better.
Yes.
And we forgot to even mention that because they are the ones that advise the presidency accordingly. And obviously, they dropped the ball on this one.
Even himself.
All right. Unfortunately, that's all we can take on this segment. When we come back, we'll move on to the next topic. Stay with us. We'll be right back.